Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're finally back with another episode of Dark Depths. It has been soon. We are here, and tonight, tonight we're joined by the usuals, Matt Cosmer and Tyler Norris. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Evening.
And while Cosmer adjusts our faces on screen, I'd like to introduce our special guest for the night, Aaron Miles.
Hey.
And we're going to start right off tonight with Aaron, talking about his top 8 with the Rizard deck. Recent top 8 finish. Why don't you give us the story of your day?
All right. So I had done not really a lot of testing since SKL had dropped because I was busy with school and stuff. And then the night before, my brother comes in from Delaware, and he's like, all right, I've been watching like the Cosmer videos and stuff, and this 28 Regalia deck is apparently really, really good. So we both need to main deck Flame of Outer World. And I had played like a red-white Rezard list at my local the week before, and it performed well, but it felt really mediocre. And the only white cards I played was like Seth the Arbiter, and Seth was good, but if you didn't have Seth, the deck was really not doing great. So I was trying to find a way to like cycle through. So I put in like the red cards and stuff, and then we get to the event, and it turns out everybody's playing Blazer. So I was like, okay, that's fine.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm like, that's fine. Persephone just needs my ruler to be named Rezard, so I don't really ever have to flip him. So round 1, like I play against Bahamut, and it's the guy's first tournament, so I was like, okay, I'm sorry for doing this to you. So then round 2 comes along,
Get
and
bodied.
I have to play against Blazer Dragons, the stuff that runs like 4 Gwyber and 4 Drake, and the spawn of Blazer. And I didn't know what the Blazer standard was, so I'm like, I guess this is it. That's where like the main deck Susanoo really came in really clutch. Like turn 2, I just Guinevere or Ruck Egg, search the Susanoo, turn 3, drop it. I'm like, alright, cool.
Does anyone have his list up currently?
I have it on my phone because I definitely wanted to feature it as well.
Yeah.
That to me. How many season did you main deck?
Just the one, because
The
I
one?
needed. Yeah, it was the only red monsters were the Guineveres, the Ruck Eggs, the 40 Thieves, and the 1 Susanoo. Because I felt like once you're out of Ruck Eggs, I needed something to search that wasn't 40 Thieves. So I just kind of threw in the Susanoo, and it just worked out really well.
Everything went better than expected.
Pretty much. That was the name of the weekend. Everything went better than expected.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
that was.
Yeah, the
round
dragon
2.
matchup was the only time I flipped Rezard to like Godzard him because dealing with like 6 dragons is really difficult.
Man, that must have been a real that Godsart must have felt really nice.
It did. It felt like that's the reason I wanted to play Rezard. I was like, okay, if I can just reset the game with a Godsart, then I'm in a really good position to win. That's how I felt like I was gonna beat a lot of like the green and blue decks. Was you just take away all their card advantage, reset it to 0, and then I have Rezard and they have nothing. Was the idea behind it.
Seems pretty legit.
Yeah. Round 3 I played against Bahamut, and he flipped Bahamut game 1 when I had Death Scythe on field, and that kind of confused me. So once again, I just searched Susanoo, kill the Bahamut, and he's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have flipped that. I'm like,
No.
yeah, I don't think so.
No, you shouldn't have.
not
Yeah.
at all.
So game 2 he sides into Blazer, and then he just gets bodied by double Persephone and a double Mephistopheles.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's like 40-something hundred damage.
40 infinite damage.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
Round 4 was the draw. I played against Blazer Knights, and
Ugh.
if we had gone on one more turn, I would have won because I opened 2 Dark Pulse. So I was like, I don't think I can lose to Blazer Knights when I opened 2 Dark Pulse. But I just when like everything ended, he was at 200 and I was at 3,800 with total card advantage. But that's how
Damn
time
it.
works. I was like, okay, it's not a huge deal. Then I had to play against the Blazer, and oh my god, I almost tilted really hard on that because I didn't know what he was playing. All I saw game 1 was 2 Lancelot and 2 Amino Habakiri. And
He's
I
not
had
nothing.
yeah, I had
That's a
out
good
2
combo.
Bow, and I completely forgot that Bow can destroy Ame. So I just ate the Lancelots and lose game 1, and then as soon as I scoop up, I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing?
Whoops-a-doodles.
Yeah, so then game 2 he sides into Kane and 28 Regalia, and I didn't expect him to. I thought it was Blazer Knights, so I sided accordingly.
Oh man.
And it was one of those... What?
I said whoops-a-doodles.
Yeah, it was Game 2 was like one of those games that dragged on really long, and I feel like I probably should have lost, and I probably could have scooped up a lot earlier, but I just didn't. And it came down to his cane was a 13-13 that was swinging for 17. And he had out 2
Woof.
Mary Bells, and I like crime and punishment it. So we sit there for like 3 minutes doing the math to try and make sure that like we've got everything, like we're on the same page with each other. And I'm like, it's doing 400 more damage than it is because you double tap Leviton, and then Maribel's gonna take that away. So as long as you tap your Death Scythe, you'll be fine. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll tap Death Scythe. It's a 200 defense, and then I just flame it.
You jackass! It'll be fine. Just tap it. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, you know, I made it seem like I fucked up the math, and then it's just like, all right, flames, it's off the board. I don't have to worry about it, and then I couldn't really recover.
Tyler can't even right now.
I would just try not to laugh when trying to bullshit that I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
was.
I'm not. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm like, no, it's no. As long as you tap the Death Scythe, you're fine. All right, yeah, cool, flames.
Whoops.
Casual.
Oh, I forgot about the flames in my hand. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And then game 3, I just sided into Blazer, so that was pretty. Like he put Kane on board, I Death Scythe, flip Blazer.
And we had fun. That was
Yeah.
a good game.
Yeah.
How long did that game 3 last?
Game 3 lasted all of like 4 turns.
Yes.
Oh wow,
Blazer's just really, really big.
wrecked.
And then round 6 was the last round. I had to play against my brother, who was playing Cthulhu Blazer.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, he Blazer Dragon, like the 11/11 with swiftness, is one of the big reasons I was running Stoning to death. And he like got that out pretty early in game 1, and I was like, oh man, I'm really screwed. And it got to the point where he had a tapped Gnarlathotep, a tapped Blazer, and then 2 Rasputins. And all I had on field was 40 Thieves and like Death Scythe in hand.
Sounds good.
So I draw 40 Thieves for turn, and I'm like, okay, let me play this 40 Thieves. And then I draw Susanoo and Leviton. So I ditch the 2 Regalias, leaving Susanoo in hand. And I'm like, alright, he's at 14, so I'm like, alright, attack with 40 Thieves, he blocks with Rasputin, I bow it. Then I drop Susanoo, kill the other one, and swing for game. And he was really, really mad about that.
Seems legit.
Yeah, Susanoo just came in a lot more clutch than I thought he would. And then game 2 was just, I drew more Guinevere's than he did. Was basically the name of the game.
So was there any cards in your list that you were like really disappointed in?
I was a little disappointed in the Leviton because there were so many Death Scythe Blazers that I was like, alright, if they play Blazer and I draw Leviton, it's fine, I could just give it Imperishable in between the blanking out and the dying, but they all just ran Death Scythe, so I'm like, okay, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, not too much you can do in that situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Leviton did come in really clutch at one point though, because I had out all 3 Regalia, and because the bow gives target attack, I just like flipped Rezard, attacked into one of his guys, let Rezard die on killing his guy, took control of it, and then he can't flip Blazer because Rezard's now dead. And I think that was pretty cool, but other than that, Leviton didn't come in a whole lot.
Probably too narrow otherwise. And
Yeah.
Blazer is just insanely popular right now, especially if no one checked out the top 8 list from Italy. They had a 77-player event. I think 6 of the 8 top 8 decks were all a Blazer Blazer Cthulhu deck, essentially. So that was actually pretty awesome. But talking about a card that you had for Persephone, how was that for you? I mean, it's definitely a card that because I built a black-red Rezard deck very early on, and just it didn't have the dedicated mill, so I was like, okay, for one, I didn't have Guinevere because I literally just built the deck to try out stealth.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, if you have the dedicated mill, maybe throw in some Guinevere's and Ruck Eggs, like you're probably going to hit 10 cards. So in that sense, how easy was it for you to hit 10 cards and flip Persephone to get value out of it, or is it one of those things you really had to grind through and try to find the resonators you really wanted?
Flipping Persephone and getting 10 cards engraved was extremely easy. And when I won the event, people immediately started asking me like, how many Persephone are you playing? And I told them all 4, and they were like, oh my god, that's the wrong number. That card's not even good.
Say that to my first place.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but this champion Matt says if you need me, I'll be in the winner's circle.
Yeah,
See ya.
basically.
And-
But the no, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying. So people that don't have the list in front of them, just to give you an idea. So we had 4 Persephones, 4 Rook Eggs, 4 Guinevere's, 4 Death Slice, which you can, of course, then discard to Guinevere for pure value, and 4 40 Thieves. So there's a lot more enablers in this than you might expect otherwise. And of course, you have other things that you can incarnate with and what have you. I think you were running a Gnarlathotep, if I'm not mistaken.
I was running 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, only 2, breaking my heart on that one, but no,
I know,
clearly it worked.
Yeah, I just didn't think it was good against the 28 Regalia deck, or I would have run more.
Turns out it's terrible.
Yeah.
Unless you hit their Breath of God, I guess, then that's about the best you're going to do with it, but
Yeah, probably.
Otherwise terrible.
But yeah, I think for Persephone in a build like this, and mostly in a format like this, is a must, because if the only reason to run Rezard is because Persephone needs your ruler to be Rezard.
Yep.
Otherwise, this deck is very similar to a Blazer deck.
And I commend you for not playing Blazer.
I side decked it, but
Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
And on that note, outside of Guinevere and 40 Thieves, it looks like you are running a full Dark Resonator list, and I don't see any Arthur. Have you had time to play test with Arthur? Is that something you would add in, or would you just skip that and keep the 3 Mephistopheles instead of having Arthur in there to pump the rest of the team?
I was playing Arthur in the original list, and then I eventually cut it because it just 1,000 body feels weak compared to your other options, and like obviously Mephistopheles isn't always going to be in the graveyard for Persephone to grab back, but Arthur just pumping my guys doesn't seem super relevant because I'm not really sure. It's like I don't put enough bodies on board for the 200 boost to really feel relevant, whereas I could just be playing other cards that'll help me to win the game.
And then the other thing that I noticed was no Mozart.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that you would change again, or do you feel like it's not needed? Because you have the 3 Rasputins, which is just good for Incarnation or early chump blocks, but then there's also the option of Mozart.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me about why I'm not playing any Mozarts or any Soul Hunts, and I just feel like, well, Mozart Soul Hunt is a good combination. It just doesn't really contribute to what you want to do with the deck. It's not a draw card, it's not a stealth card, it's not a Regalia, and those are pretty much all that you run is like draw cards, stealth cards, Regalias.
Yep.
And just Soul Hunt doesn't feel like a very good card, because the most it can ever do is, I believe, neutral. Just when my opponent discards a card of their choice, that's not something conducive to what I want to be doing. Like, I want to either see their hand and discard a card, or I don't really care about their hand because I'll just God's Art all of it away. And Soul Hunt just doesn't feel as strong as I initially thought it was.
Yeah, at least in my testing of it, unless you're running Merlin as well, it's really... If you're running Merlin, it's great just for another enabler, because you're not always going to have... You can't count on, say, 4 Narthel Taps and 4 Merlins. That's just not going to work out for you. But if you're able to make them discard a card, banish a guy, and then flip Merlin in, shrink something by 700 or more, and have a 700 body, it's great. But again, you really have to have a dedicated deck that's going to be working for that. So I can definitely see your deck is really just, I want pure value, and I'm going to put the best spells possible in this list. So, I mean, I was really impressed. I definitely want to build it. I'm going to probably give you a shout out and do a deck tech video on it because I love Rezard and I love Persephone. The only thing that I would change, I love Narthel Tap. I'm completely biased towards that card.
Yeah.
But 100% absolutely love the list. Main deck and sideboard is just solid, completely solid.
So, who was your MVP of the
Underground
deck?
Dragger. Underground Dragger.
That was what I was hoping for.
It was,
how good is that card?
That card's insane. There were so many times where like they would have a Lancelot on board and they'd be like, swing, and I'm like, block with Ruck Egg, and they're like, sure. And then they summon another Lancelot and attack, and I'm like, flip it, kill the first Lancelot, block the other Lancelot. Just the fact that it's a 700/700,
yep,
it makes it so good.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm 100 bigger than you. Oh, that's terrible.
Wrecked.
Casually just gonna wreck your day.
Yeah.
Right.
Taste it, nerd.
And at that point, even if they pay the 100 to buff him, it's like, sure, you wasted your entire turn. This is the huge tempo swing in my favor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Golden.
It's all about that tempo.
Yeah, Underground Dragger is really, really good.
Okay. Good.
All right. Well, before we move on to our next topic, so for those of you who are joining us for the first time in Dark Depths, this is kind of the format you can expect. We're going to go over some topics that we planned ahead, and then at the end, you're able to post questions. I'll snatch them out of Twitch chat, and we'll go from there. It looks like Matt didn't get the memo about Dark Depths and left the light on in his room, so he hasn't... Yeah, boo. Hiss. And also, Matt, do you have dynamic mode on Skype right now?
No idea.
In the top right corner of your Skype, there's the little 3 dots. If you have dynamic mode, turn it off because it's making our webcams jump all over the place. Anyways, all right. So the next thing we want
That's
to
what
talk
dynamic
about,
mode is.
yeah, that's the one that
Ooh.
makes all the webcams jump all over the place.
Well, that's what it's doing. Sorry.
Just it is in dynamic mode. I just saw you click it on stream. Anyways, we're gonna talk about Salt.deck, aka Matt's baby, aka Yamada Reanimator combo, and I think there's no one better to talk about this than Matt to start off, because this is his baby, and it's just so awesome now, especially with the new additions. Why don't you start us off with this one?
Sure. So, as everyone knows, Yamada's been very close to my heart since the game. When we got Genesis Creation and then Book of Evan, it's like, great, I actually have ways I can play Yamada now. And when the set got spoiled, I just didn't have the time to sit down and build with it. But the Necromancy card, that whenever a Resonator comes into play, you can attach it to it, it gets plus 200, plus 200, and a zombie. Now,
So good.
that's amazing in itself, and there's been so many games where I've just, and sure, sometimes you just get lucky. Sorry, better lucky than good. Where you'll go turn 1, mill 2 things, turn 2, mill 2 more things, like, oh, look, there just happens to be 2 Necromancies in the graveyard. Turn 3, play Book of Evian, get Yamada, get 2 Necromancies, kill you. It's sometimes we'll have, 1 or 2 blockers, so it might not be exactly lethal, but they're dead next turn. So the fact that we can have that free buff spell, which is what Yamada always needed, in the graveyard, and then get it back for free, essentially, definitely made the deck a lot stronger. But what I think a lot of people might not, really take away from it, or may not realize, is that I run the zombie package. 1, Soulless Soldier is a 2 dark, 600, 500. It kills Lancelot. Cannot stress how important that is. Sure, they can Thunder it. Sure, they're going to have a Rapid Decay. Regardless, it threatens Lancelot, and that's something that the deck really needs. On top,
Rapid Decay has gotten so good.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I must say, one of my favorite things to do is to have the... It's a little greedy, but to get the turn 2 play where you mill cards away. Turn 2, Nartheltep underneath their Zeeks, or just get, if you're on the play, attach 2 Necromancies to it and take the removal out of their hand. So on turn 2, I have a 1200 beater that's going to race you down. And then on top of that, usually by turn 4, I'm going to have Yamada that's going to do the last. Even if you only deal 1600 damage, that's all you need.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing. I do have some videos of that so people will be able to see it. I will be able to get some deck tech video up on it as well. But the deck is very, very good. And I will say there's 2 very different ways to build it. Chris, I forget his last name. My apologies. Shout out to him as well. We've been working on this together. No, the Chom. The other guy who posted his Yamada list. I really like it too. So I think there's 2 very different ways to build it. You can either go in the all-in. I just want to rely on Yamada. Run 3 to 4 Realm of Pure Spirits. Run the full boost. Don't have so much of the zombie package. Run Club Soldier instead. Or you can run the list I posted, which has the zombie theme. You have Niflheim, which gives them all plus 20, plus 200. Then you have Arthur out of the sideboard, which lets you transition into a very aggressive deck. So it's been an absolute blast to play. Even if you don't kill them on turn 3 with the Yamada, guess what? You still have a huge dragon that they have to deal with. So especially playing against Bonsai Grim, it's been amazing. Yes, Krishna, thank you in the Twitch chat for his last name. Chris Krishna has been awesome in trying to bounce ideas off one another. And it's just an absolute fun deck to play. I cannot stress that enough.
Immortalis Praetor coming in the clutch. Also, my wife misplayed and left the Chewy Sprees on her desk.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to savage all of the red ones. Hold on.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Exactly.
Yeah, since I've not been able to play much Force of Will lately just because of my job and everything like that, I think...
We miss you.
I know. I think I'm going to pick up the Salt deck just so I can, love life coming back and be like, this is really fun. But moving on, I know, Matt, you also wanted to talk a little bit about the World Judge program and the status and what's going on with that.
Sure.
So I'm going to let you take that away.
I know a lot of people are asking about that, and no, I don't have full details or anything like that, but I've been talking to Rob about it. I've been talking to Lorenzo about the finer details. However, what I can say is that things are going to be a lot different for Season 2. First off, and this one really only applies to Stephanie and Ken for right now, but as a judge, you are required to judge at least 1 World Grand Prix per year, or your judge status will be revoked. So if you, for whatever reason, you become a judge in season 1. We'll go into season 2 now. And going into season 3, if you do not judge a WGP in that season 3, you will lose your judge status. So I cannot stress enough that becoming a judge is really a job smoothly, and it's something that we have to take very seriously. So on top of that, the only people who sign up to take the judge test who are willing to work the next day will be able to get to take the judge test the day before an event. So if you show up, you pass the judge test, but do not judge the next day for that event, your judgeship will also not be qualified. You must take the test and work the event the same weekend. So that's something that I really need to stress.
Heavy.
Nope, it looks like the stream went down.
It went down for a second or two, but we're back. I can see it.
Okay.
Basically, you got to judge after you take the test. That's what we're getting back to. If you don't, you don't count.
Yep, and there's going to be more. For now, let me think. There's going to be more details coming. I know Lorenzo is working on an official announcement. Rob is going to make another announcement as that as well. But essentially, there's going to be a USA judge manager who's going to be in charge of keeping the list, making sure that everyone's certifications are up and qualified.
Checking it twice?
Yes. Making a list, checking it twice. Thanks.
I'm sorry.
And I really do. Jim has been great to work with all season 1, and ARG events are really, really important to the growth of Force of Will. I cannot stress that enough as well.
It's
So
definitely
if you have
helping
Sorry,
in
go ahead.
this lull
Yeah.
between WGPs. Gives people something to do. It's great. Thank you, Jim, if you're here.
So
He's
States is awesome. So I cannot stress enough, guys. Please, if you have an ARG event, especially States, everyone knows States is coming up. If for whatever reason your state doesn't have one, get to one. We need to see good numbers for States. It's super, super important.
I think I want to be at the Fond du Lac one in Wisconsin.
Nice.
Fond du
Okay.
Lac.
New Jersey
Where
one.
the hell is that?
It's over by Green Bay or something. I'm just gonna pay my $20 or whatever for my 0-2 drop.
Isn't that
Whatever.
basically Canada?
We're done here. Pause menu, rewind, backtrack. For the Rizard deck, is there anything that you would change?
I think I want to add a third bow.
Third bow. So was bow just that insane?
Bow was that insane because I'm not playing any Thunders or Demon Flames.
Oh god.
Yeah. People overlook that a lot. Is that I'm playing red and I'm not playing any copies of Thunder or Demon Flame. Just because I feel like bow is a 2-for-1 on it, and it gives Rezard target attack, which is huge. Like, the whole reason I ran Rezard is because I wanted to main deck for Death Scythe and be rewarded for it.
Yep.
And
like
Death Scythe's just insane with Rezard. I feel like any matchup where you can flip Rezard and not worry about him dying is a matchup that you have a very good chance of winning.
So would you side Demon Flame
Probably.
because of how well it works with bow?
Once we get this Merlin ruling figured out, then some sideboard space might open up for me. But I don't think I'd side Demon. I might side more Stonings, but I don't think I'd side Thunders or Demon Flames. I just feel like dealing with things that have less than 500 defense isn't very good, unless you're bow, in which case, like, it's just I don't like throwing away the cards for it. Is basically it.
Fair enough.
Awesome.
Okay.
Back to
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh,
isn't
no, it
that
was-
basic? Isn't that basically in Canada? No.
Total rewind.
So speaking of states and ARGs, let's just. I want to give a quick shout out, a quick chat to a convention coming up in Detroit in the next couple of weeks, which is YomaCon, whatever you want to pronounce it. It is going to be an absolutely massive, insane weekend for Force of Will.
At least 12 people are going to be showing up.
That's a lot of people.
Well, we know that I think it's over 20,000 people come to YomaCon every year.
It's a lot.
more than
And
12.
it's definitely more than 12. And Gamers Gauntlet partnered with ARG on one of the days. Gamers Gauntlet's going to be hosting a ton of Force of Will stuff. Matt, what do we got going on Saturday? Or Friday is the first one, or Saturday?
Yep. So Friday we have the trials. that lead into ARG. So if you really want, you can literally play Forceful all weekend long. So Friday nights we have the trials for ARG states. Starting Saturday, I think it's like a noon start probably. We have ARG states where you can have the chance to win the Cheshire Cat Halloween playmat, which I cannot wait to get the judge version of.
So beautiful.
I might finally have to put my Alice mat down for a little bit.
She's got the cutest little hat on. It's so fantastic.
She does. But speaking of Cheshire Cat, the thing that I think a lot of people are missing and that are most excited about is that there's actually a rebound event that later that evening, and I think it's 4:30, 5 o'clock start time, for a Cheshire Cat playmat. So everyone knows those gamer gauntlets. Yes, we're gonna have an event for Cheshire Cat playmats as well. So it's literally cats on cats on cats weekend. And then on Sunday is our Gamers Gauntlet Championship Series, where you have a chance to win the Alice Resonator playmat. So if you guys haven't seen that, it looks amazing. I posted a picture of it a while back. And we've thrown in a bounty. So many of you might know, the reason why I did this is Star City Games, who does a lot of Magic events. They have a very prestigious thing that, I think only 3 people have done it now, that if you win their Saturday event and you win their Sunday event, it's essentially like an extra title. So if you play in our ARG States event and you play in the Sunday Gamers Gauntlet Championship event, I'm going to make sure that person walks away with at least a playset of Thunder promos. So if you finish first in both events, you're getting basically $100 extra in prizes, and then I might throw some more stuff on that as well.
Juice.
So that's definitely some extra incentive. Of course, enjoy the con. You don't have to play in all the events. There's going to be a lot of other stuff to do at YomaCon.
Okay, fine. I'll Google it. What city is YomaCon?
Detroit.
Google how far away that is.
Yeah, so YomaCon is October 29th through the 31st, I believe. Or maybe
Halloween weekend, whatever those dates are.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Should be the 30th to the 1st.
Yes.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yeah. So it's going to be amazing. To get into the whole con is only like $20 a day. I think it's $60 total to get in. So, like, that's pretty cheap for a con that has 20,000+ people. Like,
it's cheap.
Like Gen Con is not even. I mean, Gen Con has way more people, but it costs like $100 or $90.
Insane amount.
It's a lot. It's money. Cash.
So like, and if you're near Detroit, if you live in Ohio or Chicago area, it's really not that far of a drive. You should come out, hang out with us. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be an amazing weekend for Force of Will and everything else. And it's Halloween, so come in a costume. I mean, it's an anime convention anyway, so there's going to be tons of cosplayers. Everybody's going to be in costume, so you might as well. It's Halloween. Yeah, I'm so hyped for that. It's going to be awesome.
8.5-hour drive for me.
Worth it.
Come visit.
Come visit. I'm crashing at Matt Cosmonic's place.
Deal.
I'll party.
I got a spot for you on the floor.
Floor? That's savage. For those curious about the Merlin ruling, you must flip Merlin immediately. Once all rules processes resolve, active player checks to see if he has any triggered automatic abilities and triggers them. Then non-active player does the same. If neither player does so, proceed with normal priority sequence.
Neat.
So he's crap now.
No. So the really, really awkward thing about this is there's a very small section that says at the end of priority sequence, there's like a mini priority sequence. So there's actually a window. Gwyn discards a card. There's a mini priority sequence, and then you can flip Merlin, and then it would go to the next ability, card, spell, whatever on the chase. So there's the super awkward little timing window that I literally did not know before today myself. So, and as a special note as well for everyone that was all up in arms about that and was calling Aaron a cheater and all these other things is, if you look at literally every other stealth card, they are all worded that you can play them at any time.
On the show.
So.
What?
Sorry. Tyler's potato microphone was interrupting you, Matt.
Nope. The mic is so bad, Tyler. So anyways, like I was saying, is that there's a small window of opportunity where you can activate Merlin at any time. However, literally every other stealth card can be flipped at any time, because Persephone just has 10 cards, Dregger just says went to the graveyard this turn, and then Herald just says, yo dog, you're playing Wizard. You can flip it at any time. So literally Merlin's the only one that's just like, hey guys, I want to be different, and I have no reason for being different. Merlin's
Sorry, I
Alright.
didn't know that.
Yeah, let's stop the witch hunt, guys, because
Aaron
I
for
literally didn't know
president.
that
I don't
either.
care what anyone says.
Speaking of arguing, let's talk about something that's a little
Oh, God.
that splits the community a little bit. Let's
Come
talk
on.
about
I'm ready.
the stamp process.
I love stamps. I love them so much.
I don't know if that's sarcasm or not.
No, that's real. I love
Cider, thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Real, Aaron.
real
Aaron for
quick,
president, everybody.
real quick before we continue, did I ask you guys what you're drinking tonight? Oh, I guess me and Tyler are the only ones drinking tonight, right?
I am drinking a New Glarus Spotted Cow. It's like the best beer in Wisconsin.
A.
I had Dr. Pepper over here.
Hey, that's something. I'm drinking a Bell's Brewery 30th anniversary Imperial Stout. It's pretty good. It's actually really good. Okay, anyways, so the community has been kind of split on whether or not to remove the stamps from the cards. You see tutorials and yada yada pictures show up every single day of people that have removed their stamps for various methods, most commonly using like a Q-tip to lightly brush off the stamp with nail polish remover. So I'd like to just like talk to the three of you guys, and I can chime in too. But I'd like to get each of your opinions individually on like how you feel about this, what you would do, and maybe why or why not you should do this. I guess I don't know. Let's start with Aaron. He hasn't had much screen time in a while, so.
Well, I come from Yu-Gi-Oh, so I would absolutely love the concept of my cards being so shiny that you literally can't read them. Like, that's just very appealing to me. But, I mean, if people want to remove the stamps, I can understand not wanting your card text to be interrupted and cluttered, like, because it does clutter up the card a bit. I just think it's beautiful, so I absolutely love stamped cards, but I can understand the reasoning behind removing them.
Yeah, I think the biggest part, like, I guess we can talk more about, like, everybody seems to be leaving, like, the logo, not the logo, but, like, the pentagram,
like, stamp, yeah.
the symbol, but everybody wants to remove the force of will letters. So I guess we could go specifically into that. And I understand, like, it obstructs the card. Me, personally, I'm a big purist when it comes to, like, collecting things, including trading cards. So, like, to change the way the card is in any way, it just would drive me nuts. So I'm kind of biased towards that. But like, I can't alter my cards like that. I mean, if I have a card that's going to be altered by an artist, fine, and I'm going to put that in my binder and stare at it because it's beautiful. But like, I can't like physically damage my cards by removing the stamp. I just can't bring myself to do it.
That's
Tyler,
because you're a good person.
hey, thanks, Tyler. Your microphone's still a potato.
No, this is what happened. I was looking for my headset that has a nice mic on it. Someone cleaned.
Oh, man.
Not
It was
me.
me. It was
Maybe
me.
if you put your stuff
Damn
away.
it. And
Let's,
I don't have it. And here's Chris with his like $1,000 microphone. Real quick.
Let's send it over to Tyler and see what he thinks about stamped cards.
Okay, me, stamped cards. Love them. Everyone that doesn't want them, give them to me. I love them so much. They could have put the Force of Will stamp on the text of the card, covering the text.
I'm with him.
And I would take it. And I would be completely fine with it. And people physically removing them, sure. You're going to do what you want. Everyone's entitled to make a mistake. However, they can stamp it up they can Force a Will 4 times on it, and I will love them to death. It'll be great. It is great. That is all.
Matt?
Why y'all gotta leave me to be the negative one? So some of you might know, because I'm vocal in those other groups as well, that I also do play Bushy Road games. That's just a recent thing since, I kind of can't play Force Will. So if you look at the Bushy Road games, they have a really, really nice stamp on them, or they're signed by the voice actors. They look great. They have a different foiling process on them, what have you. However, the text or the stamp being covered or covering the text is what just drives me insane. And I get to the point where like I really, really, really want to take. Thanks, Chris. I really want to take my Stamped Valentina and just remove the Force Will logo, but then I'd have to get a whole nother Stamped Valentina because I want to have the complete set. So, will I ever?
He's an indecisive Nancy.
Yeah, will I ever, remove a stamp? Probably not, just because I don't want to have to buy another card. But it's been great, and I'm really happy to see them doing that. I'm really glad they added the stamps. I really like the different foiling rarity that you can do, because it really helped out the market such that, how much do you say? I think my buddy bought someone was buying my Valentina list, and like they bought all the common versions of the cards and like built the entire thing for $80, not counting cats. And a lot of that is just thanks to the super rare non-foil regalia, all of those stuff you can get just non-shiny and just play the game cheaper. That lower barrier to entry to the game.
No.
Or bling bling, motherfucker.
Or like some of us that have a full stamp set and full foil set of 7 Kings of the Land now. So.
Actually, I think Aaron would be with me on this. It would be better if Force of Will got rid of the common super rare versions that have no foiling, that are completely worthless.
It does screw up the market a little bit. And then like the foil super rares are kind of weird because it's like people either want the cheapest version, which is the non-foil super rare, or they want the highest rarity, which is the stamped super rare. And then like the foil super rares sit in like this weird lull and nobody wants them.
Thank you. You've heard it, folks. That's what's wrong with the market.
Yeah.
Printing non-foil supers, not the stamps.
Stamps are great.
Stamps are perfect.
Common versions of this. No!
No matter what Matt says, he still has all of the stamps.
Oh, I do. 100%.
It's on our side.
Matt was thinking about removing all his stamps, and I told him he was an idiot, and he didn't do it.
Well, see, it's not just that. If you
remove, like a cattail in the breeze.
If I wanted to remove the stamps,
changing my opinion. Hold on.
No, here's the thing. If I wanted to remove the stamps, I'd have to do it for every single stamped card. That's a lot of work, man.
Do you know how much acetone that is?
Exactly.
Well, let me hold up this world's smallest violin to the camera.
Yep, thanks.
Wow, your mic actually that came in pretty clear. Do you mind playing a little more? Hold on.
That's
beautiful.
Wow, I'm surprised. Do you have your own CD yet? You should.
I mean, yeah, it's on Spotify.
Oh my god.
Hold on. Gotta Google that.
How do we spell Durand?
Looking it up. Dardu, what?
No chase card did hurt. TDMCP. It did hurt. Was anyone else a little bit hurt that there was no chase card in the set? Like
what is a chase card?
No booty cat or greenstone.
Oh, okay. It's like the full art lands out of MOA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no chase card in the set.
I was a little sad. I mean, all right. Well, I will say that I wish that SKL would have been the first set from this game for this game.
Oh, 100%.
Because I think this set is amazing. Just one of those, like, I don't get sick of buying SKL, even though I have everything I need. I will draft it. I'll play sealed. The stuff's just good.
And, I mean, here's the other thing you gotta think about, too, is that it's just such a great set, but also CMF also didn't have a chase card. So, we at least have the God Pack, so it seems like this is going to be a trend. So, and someone else said it on the Facebook page, and I really don't want it to be right because I will try to collect them all, but someone mentioned that, and they're probably right, that the full art chase card of the next card will be the Regalia. Of the next set will be the Regalia from A1.
Oh, man.
Which would just be insane to try to collect all those.
Yeah.
Full art textless Regalia, anyone?
I would snap by four of the Ribbon Regalias so fast.
I would need all of the textless Regalia. That is amazing because there's so much text on those. It's like I need textless Regalia.
I don't think I could play like textless Regalias in Resart because it'd be like, yeah, Death Sight lets me take your guy with Resart, and they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, yeah, look at this textless Regalia. No, just trust me, man. Just trust me. It does that.
There I was at my local tonight. I did horrible. It was great. There was one pack left in the box, and lo and behold, Matt, Look at how beautiful this stamped bow is.
It is
Look at
really nice.
That potato
Nice.
quality.
Man, your potato really picks up the texture on that card.
Force of will. On text.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone at home could totally tell what card that was.
I
It wasn't
hate
just.
you.
It wasn't just
Everything
a.
you stand for.
It wasn't just a blurry gold square.
Shh.
All right, guys. So at this point, we're gonna open it up to some questions from the chat. So if you want to ask a question, if you see me awkwardly going like this, that means I'm reaching over my laptop onto my keyboard of my desktop because
That's not what he's actually doing.
yeah. So I'm gonna be copying and pasting your questions so I can not have to remember them all.
Oh, Rob's
Alright.
actually joined us in the chat too.
He's been in the chat
He's
for like
been here for a
half
while.
hour.
Oh,
You were
okay.
ignoring him.
Oops. So real quick, just for the couple of the comments. So the way the chase card works is that they're always from a previous set. So we should see A1 chase cards in A2 set. So it'll
Okay,
be
so
whatever those are.
Aaron,
Yes.
if you had to pick a chase card to be in the next set from this set, what card would you pick?
Oh man.
Like full art doesn't have to be stamped, but it'd be
Yeah.
full art, and you could choose to have it be stamped if you want.
I'm trying to think of the best card in this set, and it'd probably be one of the regalias, but I don't want it to be like one specific regalia because then I'm playing favorites. But oh man, let me look at my deck real quick. Is there any card in here that I would love to see like full art and textless? Because I want to say Persephone, because
God, yes.
I really love that
Them
card.
legs though.
Legs
right.
that deck.
Well, for me, I would probably say either Lancelot or Percival.
That's fair.
If you could count A0 as part of it for the next set.
Oh, if you count A0,
Oh,
I
that's-
absolutely want Guinevere.
Okay, that's pretty good.
See, now here's the other thing. I want Percival, but if I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to quote Mario on this, is that those will eventually be reprinted in Alice Cluster.
Okay.
I don't know how true that is. Please don't crucify me, but so
Be right back. You gotta go build the cross.
so if we get Guinevere in A2, it's possible to be a card in A3, what have you. So I'm completely biased because everyone knows that I'm a blue mage from Magic, and I love everything water. So I would have to say Medusa. It's just as a full art textless card.
All right, so we got some questions coming in.
Sling them.
First one's for you, Aaron. If you were to add that third bow we were talking about, what would you take out for the reserve deck?
That's what I'm working on. Probably the Crime and Punishment. Would probably because the Crime and Punishment's really only in there for the Regalia deck, and like I feel like you could move those to the sideboard, and just main deck more bow. So
Yeah,
it'd
for
probably
sure.
be the Crime for the third bow.
All right, that's a pretty quick question. So that's kind of hopefully that's how we go because we're gonna get a lot of questions. So
Okay.
that was perfect. Next question is, there was a weird question. It was wondering if Aaron, if you were going to be open for deck discussions. I guess maybe people could Facebook message you. Maybe I don't know.
Oh
Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like my inbox is open. I'll take all friend requests. If you like want to post in the Force Will, like the US page, like I'm in there. You can find me and message me. I'm always open to like answer questions about the decks. Because a lot of people have been asking me like how the green matchup goes and like because there's a lot of ways to like outplay Zeeks and stuff like that that people don't realize that. If people ask, I'll answer about.
Small note on that, I would actually recommend doing like another Rizard Mega Threat, or maybe I can start because apparently that's the only way things get noticed for whatever reason.
oh,
I'll start
Celebrity
like
Cosmore, Celebrity Cosmore.
whatever.
What?
I'll start like a Rizard Mega Threat and have. I mean, that would be honestly the best way. So if anyone remembers, like we did it for the Sacred Beast discussion, and like there was a lot of good player discussion that was happening in that. I was thoroughly surprised that happened. So we should probably start one for Rizard tomorrow.
Okay.
Then because I love Rizard and I love Persephone.
Yeah.
I was too
Me too.
dedicated. I was too dedicated to stealth. And like I knew there were some things I wanted to change anyways, but 100% I'm going to be building your deck. Going to change a few cards. Going to give you a shout out and do a deck profile, and it's something I really, really want to play at locals. and get like a feature matchup. So it's something that I plan. I think it's actually the next one I'm doing off the top of my head. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
Rizard then Vlad are the next 2 decks to feature.
All right, next question. Tyler, if you have an excuse for your potato mic, what is the reason for your potato camera?
My wife moved her own camera, and what she does to screw this up, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I'm just sorry. That's all I can be. Is I'm sorry, America.
We'll forgive you maybe.
Ouch. Is it really that bad?
It's actually not bad now.
Chum, you left me.
Your camera's like gotten better as the stream has gone on somehow.
It's because it's actually recognizing my beauty.
Woof. All right, next question. So do you guys think that Baja Blast can still win, and what would need to be changed for it to be, tier 1 and up at the top of the ranks again?
You don't get paired against Blazer.
Yeah, that's a pretty good start.
Yeah. Look at top 8 Italy meta. Realize you shouldn't play that. Build a different deck.
I mean, I think you can play.
Wow. You heard it first here, Mike Cosmore.
I think you can play Bahamut.
Yeah, I play Mono Red Bahamut. Like, I think Zach Tufford played the list, and like that's what I would maybe use Splash Light for some sideboard options. But like, you go back to what Bahamut used to be. Bahamut used to be just a deal 10 damage to your opponent, rely on the rest of your deck. Like
old school style,
Lancelot's insane. Like Lancelot into Loop Guru.
I think the P is silent, and I will argue it to the death.
I feel like last format Bahamut was very focused around your J-Ruler to win the game, and we're now in a meta that doesn't condone using your J-Ruler to win the game. So, like, Mono Red Aggro is still a completely fine deck. You just can't rely solely on the Bahamut to win you the game.
Yeah, I completely agree with Aaron on that statement.
All right. We have a lot of questions, so I want to kind of go through
Pump them out, yo.
We got about 20 minutes left. So this is kind of an odd one. I'm not sure how to answer this. I'm not sure how you guys are going to answer either, but do you count A0, the starter decks, as part of A1?
Yes.
Like
in terms of the cluster and when it's going to rotate, yes.
It's going to rotate, yeah. A0 is part of that.
Okay, yeah, so it will rotate the same time as the rest of Alice block.
That's what the A stands for.
Yeah.
Aaron with the daggers.
I'm just listening.
I was just going to say daggers to the freaking brain.
Don't dagger me, bro. Dagger the Twitch chat. All right. In your personal opinion of each of you, what are currently the most meta warping cards and why?
Meta warping. Well, obviously, Blazer.
Is anyone gonna say anything other than Blazer?
Blazer is definitely one.
Yeah. Death Sight's another one.
Yep. I'd agree there as well.
Let's say Artemis Bow. Like, I'm not sure meta warping is the word, but it's definitely played in every deck.
It's influential.
Yeah.
It's, maybe let's see, anything else? I don't know. Maybe once the meta curves out a little bit more, maybe we'll see a resurgence.
Once we get like a WGP going, then we can really have a better discussion about this.
Because if we see some random red deck just top really high just because they have Split in the main because people are being greedy, Split could do it again. Did it before.
I mean, out of those Italy lists, my favorite was actually, like, they all played more or less the same base, but one of them was 9 Blackstones, a Gruvalessa, and Splits, I'm pretty sure main deck, if not sideboard. It was just destroying everyone else in their meta. It's like, let me cast this Split off 2 Darkstones, and all of them are dark. Take Oblivion. Have at it. Yeah, Split's a very real card.
That's good.
Next. Sorry, I was reading Twitch chat. How would you feel about full art A0 cards as WGB promos? Like, if they made any of the starter deck cards into full art promos?
Gwen Percival, yes, please.
As long as it's Lancelot, Demon Flame, or Guinevere. Or Rook Egg. Oh, full art Rook Eggs.
Full art Rook Egg, nerd.
Oh, I would love a full art Rook Egg.
Put a stamp on the egg.
Actually, if you just give me a black border Rook Egg, I'm going to be really happy.
Yeah, black border foiled egg, please.
Do like a wraparound stamp on the egg itself, so you just put a little stamp on the egg.
Yeah, I think, that'd be fine. Um, well, how do you guys feel about? Oh gosh, I'm gonna get slaughtered for the way I pronounce this because there's like 15 different ways you can that people say you can pronounce it. I think it's Pricea,
Prissy?
Yeah.
Prisia.
Pricea, whatever. How do you feel about that person, Pricea, in this format? Like, how do you think she's doing right now?
I feel that she's a really linear deck with linear plays that are highly predictable, and it makes it
Yeah.
really hard
Yep.
to be unique and surprise people.
Funny enough, I feel like the worst matchup for Rezard would actually be a Prisia deck that main decks Death Scythe. Just because if I Godsart before they Godsart, I'm in a rough spot. But in general, I feel like she's not that great.
I remember there was a lot of hype about that card, and
Like she has potential. It's just
Yeah,
like the
she's
Uh,
just
she's
right
a
now
solid
it's
tier
just
two.
bad.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna like because Blazer's so good, you're gonna
Yeah.
be like, deactivate my Presea. I don't have enough mana to Godart.
Godsart, because you need like 7 mana to Godsart.
It's like 1,000 to do
You need
it.
7 mana to Godsart, and then you need mana to summon her. So how much does she cost to flip?
2.
Is he two?
So on turn 9, you can finally Godsart.
You can flip her and Godsart in one go, and then
Yeah.
the effects that you get aren't gonna be extremely devastating,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
No, they're really not. I've been trying to test the deck thoroughly. The best tech that I've been talking to a lot of people with, the best tech is literally Gin of the Lamp and Cottage of Cakes. Yes, Cottage of Cakes is actually good in that deck, which is,
oh, Cottage of Cakes.
I think, goes to show the state that deck is actually in. But on a
Yeah,
positive
like, Cottage
note,
of Cakes is like the card.
yeah,
I think that's hilarious because Matt, you'll know Chris, a guy at our local another Chris, was collecting Cottage of Cakes.
this time has finally come.
He was trying to buy Cottage of Cakes from everyone for like a nickel or whatever.
But yeah, like tested the deck a lot. Tried it really. If you don't open up Horn, the deck's immediately worse. Like it's not in a good spot. More support coming in 8-2 if we're to believe the trailer. So hope for that.
Isn't it called 4 Sacred Beasts? We've got 4 Sacred Beasts.
Yes.
How many more can we get?
Well, I'm assuming we're gonna see a
was
Prisia
saying that they
Resonator.
could- I was saying that they could. You know how there was that artwork of like Presea when she was like Dark Presea or whatever.
Yeah.
I was saying that that Force of Will was gonna just cheat the system and just make a whole bunch of dark 4 Sacred Beasts. That she's like undead or whatever, so they'd be like the zombified versions of them, so they could actually just cheat the system for easy cards to make, and then just give them different effects, which I'd be fine with. But like the fire chicken can give something negative instead of doing damage, which would be dope. Then we get more stuff. But that's in my dream world.
Yeah. Well, they'll just add another creature type called the 4 Sacreder Beasts.
Yeah, but then the effects wouldn't work for all the other shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be an errata. It'll be an errata.
Hey, now you're getting 4
Oh
most
my God,
Sacred
please.
Beasts.
Chris. Jordan, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. We do appreciate everything you do. We're so glad that A1 has no issues with it. So thank you to our new translator and savior, Jordan, out there.
Yeah.
Oh, and no, I don't watch videos online TDMCP. I don't watch stuff. So if something happened actually in the lore that I don't know about,
All right, next question. What is your favorite Matt Cosmer meme?
the one that I made, it
I
was
like the Soonbird.
The Stoonberg?
Soonbird's pretty good. Mine was the one that I made was like 387 new messages, 0 fucks given. That was my favorite.
I really liked that one. I think my new favorite though has to be Rules Question Cosmer.
Okay, that is actually.
I got to give a lot of credit to that one, though. When Chase said that to me, I'm like, okay, hold up. This is actually going to be the first one that I approve. That I
It's just-
actually approve.
It's just Matt going like.
There's going to be a lot more of those coming.
When Gretel flips a feast thing, does it go into play?
That was actually I actually laughed at that one. That was pretty
Oh,
good.
that's so good.
Next question.
Then you get a picture of Matt as Picard doing like the facepalm thing. And can we do that as for Halloween?
No.
Just Picard, so that we can make memes, really good memes out of it.
Dank memes.
Dank memes, please. One time. Next question.
Next
Next
question.
question.
Thank you.
Tyler, what LGS is your favorite, all caps, favorite to play at and why?
What local game shop?
I think it was asked by one Vera Voidwalker.
Well, I have two right now. I have to say, as of right now, it would have to be River City Hobbies would be my favorite one to play at right now because they always have their promos.
Daggers.
I'm sorry, that makes me biased. They have the Halloween promos. They order from this like dinky ass distributor, and they have the Halloween promos, and I'm just like, okay, I'll take that. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, next question is actually a pretty interesting one. What is your guys' take on Scheherazade and 1001 Stories in this format? And what do you think the major targets for 1001 Stories would be if you were going to play a Scheherazade deck?
Lancelot.
Yeah, pretty much like Lancelot or Mephistopheles.
Yeah, I mean, the
Lancelot.
issue is with Lancelot is that they have Guinevere, so they're just going to sack it to 1,000
Yeah.
before, like, 1,001 Stories resolves.
And you're gonna be at 4 mana. You're gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna thunder your Guinevere, and they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna sack it to this, and you'll be like, sure, 1001 your Lancelot.
Wrecked.
Exactly.
The value is so real.
So you guys think Scheherazade can still be viable in today's format?
If you play for Alice's World, you got a pretty good shot.
'Cause,
Oh, the
Oh, that was the next. Actually, I lied. The next deck was going to be Susan Sword combo with Sherry to set up Moonjar. That's the next deck was
too
going to
late.
be.
You already
Yes,
made commitments.
Susan Sword combo. We're doing it.
Because, like, in the world where Moon Priestess Returns was the newest set, like, Scheherazade ruled the world there for a while. Like,
Yeah,
it was like she was like the queen of the meta, like, and now she's just kind of no one even cares. So it's just interesting to see if she could really, like, if she could become another, like, true control deck again, or maybe played a little differently. That's actually, when I saw this question, I thought it was actually a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Actually, if anyone's curious, you could probably PM Brandon Noland. He's probably one of the biggest advocates for Scheherazade. He was the dude that topped WGP Chicago with Cats.
Deck.
Oh yeah.
Cats deck. So if you actually PM him and be like, hey, what do you think of Scheherazade? He'll probably give you one of the best opinions you can get out of it.
Sure. Anybody else before I move on?
I feel like anything that Scheherazade wants to do, you could also just do with Vlad, and then just have a built-in win condition on your ruler. Like any colors that Scheherazade's going to play, unless you like want to flip a specific stone turn 1, you're probably just better off playing Vlad.
Yeah, okay.
Aaron's right.
Um,
He really is.
And then another question here: with the new set coming out in December, do you think that this set's rulers will be printed as resonators, or new rulers?
I mean, if they follow the trend, that'd be dope.
Yeah, I'm assuming resonators based on the trailer and based on the information given. I'm
Bizarre
assuming
as a resonator.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Fun.
I hope.
Yeah.
That'd actually be really cool.
Oh my god.
I'm hoping for dark. The
Like-
ones that got corrupted as dark resonators, but split costs. So like Arlo would be light dark and stuff like that.
What happens if they were like resonators that could search out their own regalia? Rezard search out Death Scythe? Come on.
Suddenly, Rezard's a staple in the Blazer decks.
Wow. Yeah. So I mean, based on what we've seen so far from this game since it came out in February, like,
It's always happened.
we can probably expect to
also-
see the rulers printed as resonators.
Also, DP Grim and Arod's 85 are saying you thunder the Guinevere first, they then banish the Guinevere in response to that, then you 1001 Stories, the Lancelot. Thank you. Moving on with my day.
Is there any available info on season 2?
Soon.
Tyler said it, not me. Yes.
Okay, soon. Got it. Question from TDMCP saying, "What happened to all the Vlad that Matt promised?"
I got stuck in Italy because we had Baja Blast. I mean, that's how it
That's
is.
the best response I think I could have hoped for that. That was amazing. Hold on.
It did, man. Like because I do talk with a lot of their players, and they're like, yeah, Vlad's just the meta here. Like our Baja Blast was their Vlad, and between the two, I'd rather have Baja Blast as a control player. That's just the reality. So,
Yeah.
and the other thing is Vlad is a very, 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 very skill intensive deck. So, it's not a deck a lot of players are going to want to play. Therefore, less people are playing bad. Therefore, less people are going to top 8 with Vlad.
Yeah. Not really. I mean, it kind of a question. It was phrased as a question, but it's not really like a specific question. Sketch was wondering, any talk on angel beats?
Next time?
Yeah, that's probably a whole topic, honestly.
I think the 1000 for 5 that gives you like 18 power is amazing.
Yep.
It's really good.
Everyone. Oh, I get it. Everyone. What do you think of Blazer Control with main board split heaven and earth?
It's stupid good.
Yeah, I don't know if you play 4.
It's what my brother was playing in Atlantic City. He just played 9 Blackstones, or no, he played 8 Blackstones, Scrubs Ballista, a little red, and then I think he played 3 split in the main and then 1 in the side.
Oh, what did we just say? That's awesome. Did you do okay?
He got 7th place because he lost to me at table 1 in the last round.
Obviously, you're the better player.
Clearly.
I mean, numbers
results are there.
Yeah, exactly. Can hold that over his head forever.
Exactly, but yeah, I feel like I'm not sure how I feel about Split because I thought Split was going to be huge because I thought Bug Control was going to be huge, and like Split is my favorite card in the game because I feel like it's ridiculously overpowered. But with how much Blazer there is in the format, I feel like as the format goes on, people are going to go down to like 1 or 2 color Blazer, and not everybody's going to be running 10 special stones. So I'm not sure how to feel about splits just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a really good assumption that was made. I thought so too, because I mean, I thought that a lot of people were just gonna go all Jeff Jones and do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And shout out to Jeff Jones for being Jeff Jones. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you're just completely correct that Blazer is just so influential right now that it splits in an awkward spot where it can be sometimes just good enough, you know?
Yeah. Like, I don't think anybody should be main decking for Split Heaven and Earth and expecting to have that come up as much as it does.
Cakes on his poop.
Yeah.
Keen Sense is dope. Unless you're playing Gretel, then fine.
Yeah.
Next question.
Well, the last question I see here, it'll probably be the last question of the night. How competitive can Alice, the Saint of Healing, be?
I am currently trying to do it. I am working on a list right now. I'll tell you that Phantom Board is awesome. The card is so good. Because, I mean, if you're playing like a control-y list with it, you leave up your stones to counter something. They don't. You at the end of their turn, go get a soldier. The soldiers turn out to be actually really, really relevant. They're pretty good.
Yep.
Especially, actually, my favorite one is green. Even though blue gets you cards, I love green because it's like instant speed featsing if I need it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Saint of Healing is definitely better than the Valkyrie of Fairy Tales.
Oh my god.
100%.
Agreed. I like drawing cards, don't you?
Drawing 3 cards for 2 mana is really, really good.
Yep.
I see your 4C and raise you a healing wind.
And that's the thing that a lot of people, I think, once we find more refined lists and whatnot, the counter can not only counter a removal spell and then draw you cards, effectively +4 in that scenario, and then it can tap to protect stuff, and then you can pay 2 to buff your defense of something. The card does everything that we really want to see in a control deck, and then it of itself having a 1500 defense blocks, well, everything, except Mephistopheles, which I really block anyways. So there's a lot to be done with that card, and control decks are just always going to be the hardest decks to build in a newer format, and because we don't have a lot of very large events going on, there's not, people aren't really working together, working to refine these lists, but I have a lot of high hopes for Saint Healing Alice. Bishop Alice, whatever you want to call her. The card's good.
To DP Grimm, Bonsai St. Alice, I was playing a list tonight that was trying to abuse the fact of like spamming out guys, playing low costing creatures that kind of cantrip like Hanzo and stuff like that to try and see if it was a deck. It's okay, but it's the same issue that Valentina kind of runs into is they like Flame King Shout or something, and then they just like 86 your entire board, and you sit there, and maybe you draw some cards off of your like your blue soldiers. But I don't know. I found it a little underwhelming trying to go for Bonsai tonight. I'm gonna do some more testing, but I think going towards more like the mid-range St. Alice seems like the way to go, or full control.
Alrighty, well, I think that's been a pretty good coverage of what's going on right now in Force of Will. So I think we should probably just start to wrap it up here.
Oh, you know what we forgot though? Sorry, I just remember the other thing we were supposed to make the announcement of.
Oh boy.
So the other thing, guys, I don't know how exactly that we're gonna set this up yet. But starting, I think it's this Monday. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be this Monday. Starting this Monday, we're gonna be starting a new segment as well via Twitch, being called Force of Community. Either Tyler, Chris, myself, we're gonna be playing games of Lackey with the community, opening up to Twitch, opening up to conversations, and just having random games against people in the community. Bring out your best deck. Let's talk strategy. Let's talk about cards, and let's just really get a bigger sense of community involvement. So, starting hopefully next Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll be firing off those events as well.
So, quick question: can the other two narrators be watching the game and pseudo shoutcast it?
Sure, if you want. Well, I mean, we'll see.
Oh, that's just great.
Not allowed, potato.
Oh, come on. I'll have my headset back, please.
So we'll definitely be doing that. Hopefully, starting next Monday, and I do want to make that a weekly segment. If not weekly, it'll be bi-weekly. But we started off with Lucky CCG when Chris and I started this back in February. I think it's really about time that we get back to it. And I'm gonna blank on his name. Shame on me. I want to say it's Hank, but I don't think that's right now. The guy that's making the online browser app for it, so we can actually have like a proper dueling network. You are my hero.
It's Harry Strick.
Thank you.
I got drunk with him in Japan.
Nice. So, sorry for butchering your name. Thank you for everything that you're doing. It's going to make things a lot better for building the online community. So,
actually, shout out to Harry for having the most interesting way to say hello in Japanese that I've ever heard from the Englishman. It was Konnichiwa. When he was inebriated, it was fantastic. So, shout outs to Harry for being amazing.
Everyone says, "Do we have the option of Skyping you?" Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, we're gonna Skype the game. We'll both of us, whoever's playing the two games, you'll both be on Skype. I'll be, host. So one of us on our end will be hosting this Twitch. Please don't stream cheat, whatever. But we're gonna be doing everything we can to, just casually play some games. So
yeah, I think it's pretty cool because, like Matt was saying, like back when Matt and I back in February, which seems like a lifetime ago now, like
yes, it does.
Like, oh, we should check out this game. It's called Force of Will, and we checked out Lackey, and then we're like, oh, let's make a YouTube channel. And so like that was like our beginning. So it's gonna be cool to go back and play with some people and build decks instead of just like Three Musketeers versus whatever bullshit Matt came up with.
Little Red Werewolves and Jean. Man, Jean is a good ruler. But she needs to come back too.
Yeah, she does too.
God, I miss Inquisition. All right, that's it. Now I'm done ranting. So Force of Community starting.
Everyone's enjoying themselves. I mean, look at Aaron. He's great. Shout out to Aaron. Thank you for coming out. Thanks for talking about your deck
and
all of the choices and dealing with our bullshit. It's fantastic. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you a lot, man, for coming on and putting up with us for an hour plus.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, man, awesome. For sure, man. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, hopefully we will see you in 2 weeks. We are going to make a commitment to returning this to a bi-weekly segment, a bi-weekly podcast, and hopefully you can tune in next time to episode 5 of Dark Depths, when we'll get a little bit more into the upcoming S2, and like we said, we're going to talk about
Oh, do you guys want to do like a mini set, like a set review as spoilers come out and shit?
As spoilers come out, we will definitely add some stuff to that.
Yeah,
That sounds like fun.
So make sure to drop a follow on our Twitch channel down there at the bottom, right underneath the screen, twitch.tv/ForceOfWillUS. You can also check out
Thanks.
Matt and I on YouTube at ForceOfWillUS.
Not me.
Not Tyler, because he sucks. And thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next episode. Dark Depths. Peace
I
out,
love
guys.
you all.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
Night.